Yesterday, the DCI officials from Mombasa arrested Pastor Ezekiel Odero of New Life Ministries. And this has raised various concerns and issues amongst the people of the Republic of Kenya. The arrest arises in a time where Christianity is under probe in the Republic of Kenya. And this is after controversial preacher Paul Mckenzie was identified and concerned with killings and controversial teachings. And the question is, we have seen Odero preaching over quite a time. The unfortunate thing is that the government has not told us in any uncertain times, or even certain, as to the reasons as to why they decided to arrest and close Pastor Ezekiel's church. And the question is the government right or is it wrong? And as I try to answer that question for you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Mkenya TV, and I wish you all the best. Let's roll. Now, the first issue is that in some no apparent terms, the government wants to associate Pastor Paul Mckenzie with Pastor Ezekiel. And in this video, I want you to be very clear, to understand me very clearly, that I am not here to defend Pastor Ezekiel Odero, neither am I here to judge the government. But as long as things are in the public domain, it is our right to scrutinize them and see what we have. And this is a story. The police yesterday stormed Odero's church in the middle of a service, but that's beside the point, and proceeded to arrest Odero. And when they arrested Odero, they did not make any single public statement telling us that we are arresting Odero over this and this and these allegations, or these are the kind of investigations we plan to do. And every time the government has done something like that, the game is always fishy. Think about Rigathi Gachagua when he was being arrested. Think about just anybody who was arrested without any public statement from the police. The game has always ended up to come out as a fishy story. So the question is this story another fishy one, or is it me who thinks it is fishy? I don't know. Tell me your comments in the comment section. The character of Pastor Ezekiel Odero is very funny. Personally, I have never liked Ezekiel Odero on various grounds, but I'm not here to state whether I like him or not anyway. So I'll proceed. We have seen the government of today, the government of William Samoei Ruto, trying to come out as a group of religious people. We have seen them praying with Kina Pastor Pius Moiro. We have seen them dining with all these kinds of pastors. And the question is, if Pastor Ezekiel Odero is a cult, then shouldn't Pius Moiro also be a cult? Because apparently, as Ezekiel has very clearly come out to tell us, Pius Moiro is his spiritual father, wakiwa na Kinanganga. So why should the government also probe Kinanganga? And that should answer the first question. This is not about a cult. This is not about probing cults. Because anyway, if the government was very interested in probing about cults, there's a church in Western where worshippers are tied. In fact, they're actually chained. They cannot go anywhere. And the government knows that. If I know that, because it is in the public domains, it is in YouTube, it is in Facebook, it is everywhere. You don't want to tell me that the government doesn't have any idea. We have even seen pastors who have been hitting the subjects, the members of their church. We can look and tell that this is quite a cult. So the first thing is, and my first conclusion is, this is not about solving the cult equation. Even when we put Mckenzie in the equation. Because let's even imagine that Ezekiel Odero was actually connected to Paul Mckenzie. As a government, you don't just make an arrest without having background information of how these two are related, where they have been meeting, what kind of things they have been planning. Because you don't want to tell me that arresting Ezekiel Odero and putting him in prison will make him say, hey, I have been with Paul Mckenzie and I have been assisting him get people to kill or people to starve. You know, that is not what will happen. Even a stupid mind as mine, as in terms of investigations, will be sure that that will never be the case. So the question is, if not that, then why arrest him? Because yes, we are not denying that he may be connected to Paul Mckenzie. But did that connection warrant an uninformed arrest? Or if it is informed, why are we not being informed over the reasons as to why he was arrested? The other issue is Pastor Paul Mckenzie's church has been on the spotlight over very controversial issues, and this is not the first time you have seen it. And yet today, Pastor Paul Mckenzie is out on bond. So the question is it about the bonds? So as clearly as explained, then this is not about solving the cult's issues. And anybody might as such ask, what is it about? And this is what it is about. It is of political significance rather than any religious significance. Because as I had clearly said, William Samoei Ruto is so categorical on projecting himself as a good Christian, a good lover of God. And he has been able to convince most of the people. But there is one particular guy who has clearly and on very clear terms said something offish about William Ruto's government, and that is among the very few religious people who have come out to clearly say something prophetic, William Samoei Ruto has been going through to all these prophetic churches also doing nini. So if he wanted to, even if he wanted to, he cannot fight these people because he is their member. He is their devout member. We have seen him in the company of Kina Pius Moiro. I don't know whether he has been with Nganga, but he has been with all these other kinds of people we call scams. Yeah. So if it is about solving the scam thing, I don't think so. So what is it about? And these are my thoughts about it. Tell me what you think about it. I'll be pleased to hear. Now, Ezekiel Odero, before the elections to the August House of 2022, he came out and told us that we are going to get into an election and we are going to vote in a president. But whoever is elected is going to be more chaos than anything, any government we have seen. As at that time, all the data, all the media, everywhere was showing that Raila Amolo Odinga was winning. And some of his followers couldn't help but think, Raila Amolo Odinga, that man. But of course, due to the political dynamics of that time, they still went on and voted in whichever direction they did. This is not about the election, so I'm not going to discuss about who won and who didn't. So, after the elections, William Samoei Ruto was declared the winner by Mr. Wafula Chebukati. When Mr. Wafula Chebukati did that, Raila and his people went to court to dispute the elections. Ezekiel had said that even though the leaders tried to provoke war, there would be no war anywhere. And even after Raila and his people rejected those results, there was no war anywhere. There were no fights. Ezekiel also proceeded to say that there was going to be massive corruption like the government had never ever seen. And the question is, and this he had said in a span of 6 months, we will see it. As I talk this, I like to remember a newspaper headline that mentioned the bursary scheme that rocked Harambee House, where Rigathi Gachagua is situated. And this is just but the tip of the iceberg, because every day the government is coming out to tell us that there is no money. Yet every day the government apparently collects more than 1 billion shillings from Kenyans. The government is also still taking up loans. So 6 months down the line after an election, the government is still telling us that there is no single coin in the government coffers. We have always known that William Samoei Ruto is corrupt. He has never spoken of fighting corruption. Even in his campaigns, he was always very shady about fighting corruption. Today, some Kenyans may not agree, but the majority of the Kenyans would agree that the Republic of Kenya is in more chaos than we were last year. Not to add to the equation, the Raila mass action, the county government's unpaid dues, the troubles in schools where children are dying. Students are dying of, apparently food poisoning in a school. Okay. Accidents. Kenyans are suffering more economically today. And this man, Ezekiel Odero, had the audacity to come and tell us that we will miss Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and that if he had a choice, he would reinstall Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. He told us in very clear terms that we will miss Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And yet, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is today's William Ruto's bitterest enemy. That is why we have seen Kina Kimani Ichung'wah and Ndindi Nyoro, Kina Aaron Cheruiyot, they have always been about Uhuru this, Uhuru that, they destroyed this, they destroyed that, they did this, they did that. William Samoei Ruto has been all about an attempt to discredit Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's actions. I'm not saying that they were the best for the Republic of Kenya. Neither am I saying that they were not. So the question is, why would the government not go after such a man who has been so critical of them and who has given people, he works Ezekiel works under some mysterious powers. He tells us is the power of God, just like everybody out there. Even the Catholic priests will talk about the power of God. And the Baptist and everyone, we all talk about the power of God. So the question is, because this is not about God and this is not about religion, is it a revenge mission? Is it a fungamdomo? Some people may think I'm thinking too much. Yeah, I'm known for that, thinking too much. But if this is not about that, then what is it about? Let the government come out and tell us clearly that we arrested this man because he has murdered person A, B, and C. Because you cannot just tell us that he is accused of murder. Murder? Who did I murder? You cannot accuse me that I have murdered. Show me the identity of the person I am being accused of murdering. Show me the identity of the person who is connected to me, who has been murdered, and I am closely related to that murder. But the government is not telling us that. It is not giving us anything about that. It is just giving us shady stories. They think we are stupid and cannot read into the stories. Well, let me tell William Samoei Ruto one thing. You may be right that Ezekiel Odero is some sort of cult. And you will be spooked to think that Kenyans are going to stop following him just because you have arrested and closed his church. Because in fact, that is not the DCI who made such an order. The DCI don't just go for someone as popular as Odero Ezekiel. They just have to have gotten orders from above. And the president must have been aware, the deputy president must have been aware, some of the notable government officials must have been aware, the highest officers of the defense forces of the republic have been aware, some members of the executive, especially the high-ranking members, have to have been informed, because this is something that has the potential to actually erupt into a coup. It's like going to arrest Raila Amolo Odinga. This man is popular. Yeah, Kenyans follow him on the screens. Yeah, we have seen hundreds of thousands of people rushing to his services. So this cannot just come from a DCI office situated in Mombasa. The orders have to have come from the offices in Kiambu. The offices in Kiambu must have received those orders from the higher offices. The higher offices have to have received that same information from the executive. The judiciary has to have been informed. Yeah. So the question is, for how long are we going to see this drama go on? And I want to tell the people of the Republic of Kenya that we may want to pretend that we are touched by Paul Mckenzie's cultic practices. We may want to pretend that we are abhorred by the evil committed by Paul Mckenzie. But let us stay open-eyed, because the government is making particular moves that are totally not related to Paul Mckenzie. Because, for example, the government just banned public gatherings. How are public gatherings related to Paul Mckenzie? I mean, Paul Mckenzie is in Kilifi. Let's even imagine they are related to Edero because he's also from, I think, Kilifi. So the question is, so what does that have to do with the public rallies, public meetings? Are we stupid to believe that this is about cults? We are not. So let the government come out and tell us we are trying to stop Raila from holding any mass demonstrations, because we have also seen Raila coming out to tell people that, hey, we are going to resume mass action. No, the government is not serious, and that blah 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 blah. But again, let the government also be very clear with us that it also wants us not to gather over any other reason except even religious issues. Let the government come out and tell us that. Let the government tell us that it has arrested Odero to intimidate him, so that he never comes out again to prophesy anything government. Let them tell us that Paul Mckenzie is still out there because they don't care whether Kenyans are dying or not. Let them tell us that they will do nothing about those chained in churches in Western because they don't care. Let them tell us about that church in Kiambu, and let them tell us they don't care. And am I not telling them to care? No, I'm not even telling anybody to care about anything. But let them be clear with us that they don't care. Because that is what the government of Kenya is about today. They don't care. They don't give a damn. They don't give a hoot. So let them be clear with us. We don't give a hoot. We don't give a care. We don't give a damn. And Kenyans will have been very satisfied to suffer, to go through trouble, to eat our own githeri, or for those who follow Mckenzie, not to eat anything. To accept and agree to die without a care in the world, because nobody cares. The economy is still at large with us. But we have not seen any deliberate action that is logical to bear any fruits happening from the government side. All we are being told is this and that. And yet we can see more crises coming. Today the public debts are still rising. Monies have apparently been scheduled to repay some part of our debts, but when you go to the public domains, those monies have not been remitted to the debtors. Our public debt has remained constant, when they still come out and tell us that, oh, we have paid some of your debts. Let Kenyans know that only Jesus paid their debts. The government has paid no debt. And you know what that is going to be? Chaos. economic collapse, economic problems. So the question is, what are we going to do? I'm going to give you a 2-minute thing to do. And this is number 1. Take a deep breath. Hold your breath for 2-3 seconds. Slowly let out your air. Do that again. Do it up to 5 times. Take your food and eat it. Focus on your goals. Focus on your lives. And for Christians out there, I know that this is going to be one of the most trying moments for the churches and for spiritual leaders. The spiritists are rejoicing. The members of the Masonic lodges are rejoicing. Because when the body of Christ is mutilated, when the church is ashamed and embarrassed, the devil rejoices. But do not be dismayed or worried. Do not be shocked. Do not be troubled. The Bible tells us to look up unto the Lord, for there shall our help proceed from. Do not be worried. Do not be troubled. Do not feel obligated to fulfill issues that you have no obligation about. Just pray to your God. Ask Him for your strength as they sit to try and create a totally institutionalized religious system, because this is what it is all about. Because when you hear parliamentarians talking about, oh, they must go to school, or they must have gone to a theological school, that is what they are about. And the question is God in any one of those theological schools? We have seen people who have attended theological schools, people with masters in theology, and they still preach crap and unbiblical shit. And that is what most of the theology schools are. They're about making the Bible seem as vain as possible. That is why you will hear them talking about, do not worry, oh, live a good life, oh, God wants you to have a beautiful life, and all this, oh, God is going to. Whether theologians or non-theologians, whether having been inspired by God and the Holy Spirit, they don't stop anywhere to give us a false gospel. We have seen priests giving us false gospels. We have seen Isnads do the same. But don't be worried. The Bible tells us to look up unto the cross and focus on Jesus, just like this man Stephen. And that is it for now. I wish you all a good time, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and tell your friends about this channel. Peace. You want to dispute that, and I cannot really exactly ask you not to, but the question is, have you seen the police arresting Paul Mckenzie? In fact, he has been making statements all this while. Mara anatuambia sijui polisi chenye kitafanya sijui nini, sijui hawajui, sijui kitawaramba, sijui nini, and all those other things amekuwa akisema. So the question is, if this is about the cult, then why have they not acted on all those other examples that I have cited? Because those are more cults than you would tell me and convince me that Ezekiel is. I have never liked his teachings. I have never liked the Catholics' teachings. I have never liked some of the Presbyterian's teachings. I have never liked some of the Orthodox teachings. I have never liked some of the Wakorino teachings. Every church has some unbiblical teaching. And if you want me to give you an example of teachings from the Catholic that are not biblical, ask me. If you want me to give you about the Seventh-day Adventist teachings that are not biblical, ask me. Because every church today is a cult. So if the government is trying to fight the cult, then let them tell us why most of them are members of the Masonic lodges. And of course, now some of you may want to accuse me of being a conspirational theorist. I don't care. Accuse me of whatever you wish, but that is the truth. These people are Masonic. Most of these people have used witchcraft. I don't even want to give a story where Samuel William Ruto and Kina Moses Wetangula and some particular other officials were cited visiting a certain witch doctor somewhere. And that is the truth. Whether provable or not, it is the truth. And they know that that is what they are. Only that they have been able to cheat us that, oh, sisi ni watu ya Mungu. But they come out right and do some ungodly shit. And you ask yourself, are these men of God? Yeah, mtu analia mpaka kanisa. Alafu akishamaliza hivi anaanza matusi. What kind of God do you want to tell me that you worship? Na kwanza hata to make it worse, it's in a church. You know, if you waited uende kanisa uende ukatusi Raila na huko, uende ukamuita wewe sijui nini, whatever it is that you want, you wouldn't have a problem. But you proceed to profane the same church that you want to tell us you follow so carefully. So number one, I repeat, this is not about cults. This is not about religion. This is not about helping Kenyans. So if it is not about helping Kenyans, what is it about? Because all these people have been observed using altars. It doesn't matter whether you are using the altar of Pius Muluri or Ezekiel or Mckenzie or this other guy where Raila last attended the rally, a service before they stopped the mass demonstrations. Whether you're following that guy, whether you are following a Catholic bishop or a priest or whatever, you're a member of that cult. Agree or not, you're a member of a cult. You only need to understand the definition of a cult, and now you will realize, oh yeah, I'm a mainstream cult. Now it just borders on, are you a mainstream cult or are you not? And the other question is, we very clearly have a constitution that gives us the right of worship. You know, I'm talking like this as a Christian who knows and understands the kind of spiritual times that we are walking in today. And we are walking at times where all our leaders are spiritists. Some of you are going to think, all our leaders? Yeah, that's what I say. Most of them are spiritists. Most of them are into weird shit. They are doing weird stuff. And that is why, no matter who you elect, there's practically almost no change in the basic lives of the people of the Republic of Kenya. And that is the world. And that is what Jesus told us. That the world was given over to the devil to rule. So the devil is ruling us using these beautiful people who we elect as our members of parliament, our members of the county assembly, senators, governors. Yeah, the devil is using those people to rule us. The president, no matter, you see, if the president was a very good Christian, we saw him walking in a Muslim in a mosque. What business does a devout Christian have in a mosque? So they are telling us outrightly, yes, we masquerade as Christians, but we are not Christians. That is why they feel free to go to any mosque. They feel free. I imagine even if the Indians had their temple here, they would also feel very free to go there and worship with them, especially if they were politically significant. Not most of the Indians today are not really politically significant, except behind the wheels where they are dealing with the members of government. So if they were of any political significance, or if associating with them will translate into votes and support, we will also see Kina William Samoei Ruto go in there and tell, oh, ng'ombe wewe ni mzuri, wewe ndiye Mungu, hakuna mwingine. So these people are not even Christians. Eh? These people are not even Christians. No Christian. And the Bible is very clear when it says that Christ and Belial have no business dining on the same table. So this is not even about religion. And every action the government of today has been taking has been motivated by either support or oppressing the opposition. And that is all that William Samoei Ruto has been doing. That is all.